Hello, how you doing, guys? How are you?
Yeah. Okay. Well, good to go. Ryan, are you good to go in there?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. We get underway. We kick off. Corky, do you want to kick us off?
Sure, I will. Thank you very much, Richie. How are you doing?
Good.
Can you just talk me through captain's run and late injury concerns, and how's everybody at this stage?
Yeah, no, everyone came through fine. Captain's run in a wet Twickenham, so we're hoping that'll dry up by tomorrow. But yeah, everyone came through fine. Light run this morning, and all the boys are in good spirits and looking forward to tomorrow. Really, everyone's fit and healthy.
In terms of the game, up against a vastly experienced England team, so therefore, how important are the opening 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes?
Yeah, they tend to be very important, and I suppose the last couple of times we've come to Twickenham, it's been tough in those early stages. We haven't got our foothold into the game quick enough, so that is something that we need to focus on. It's one of those things, though. If those first few minutes don't go right, you still have to move on to the next thing. So we just got to take it play by play and be ready for whatever they throw at us, but also go with the intention of attacking them from early on.
A final question for me: how important is it that you're mentally strong? If you suffer a setback early on, you concede a try, that you don't drop your head, that you just draw a line in the sand and move on.
Well, that's one thing that we've been working on for a long time now. Is how we move on to the next thing, and as a group. And I think where we're getting to is, obviously this team. There's quite a few new faces in it, and those guys have really come in and brought the rest of the guys forward in many ways. But dealing with those little setbacks and getting on to the next moment is massively important, a little bit like what I was saying there early on. So if those first couple of minutes don't go that well, our focus needs to be on the next ball.
Hi Richie, we've seen in the past how England have targeted the England out half. How confident are you that Ross Byrne won't go into his shell tomorrow?
I'm very confident in Ross. Ross is getting a big opportunity. Obviously, coming out at Johnny Shadow, like he does for Leinster, is tough because people will be obviously very focused on him. But he's led the week really well. He's stepped up. His communication with the guys around him and his leadership and his work with the likes of James Ryan and the other boys has been really good. So look, he's gone into a game, a test match that he knows is a massive opportunity for him personally. But I know that Ross will put the team first and try and guide his team in the right direction.
What would have been the main thing that you would have learned, I suppose, looking back to even February, Richie?
Well, you got to get against England. They'll come with a big kicking game, and they'll come with to add a lot of pressure and try and put the ball back in behind you. So making sure that we're on top of that, making sure that we can deal with the stuff that comes into our backfield is going to be really important, and how we get out of our end. And so they're the big things. Obviously, when we have the ball, we need to be clever with how we use it. Field position is going to be massively important. But when we get a chance to fire the shots, we've got to take them and not go into our shell.
And just finally for me, Eddie Jones was asked yesterday about the residency rule, and he said he heard somebody calling Ireland the United Nations. Is this anything you feel you need to defend yourselves against here, or is it you're just kind of making use of the rule?
No, definitely not. We've a group of players, obviously, who are all eligible to play for Ireland. We select that squad early on in relation to who we feel is in the best place to play for Ireland. Over the next number of weeks. And tell you the truth, we don't even think of we think of all of our players as being Irish. They've been in the country. They're members of their local communities, and we just get on with it from there.
Richie, years ago I remember Johnny Sexton talking about playing England and how it's Ireland players and fans get up for it more. It's kind of a natural, a chip on your shoulder, or whatever you'd like to call it. But with 5 guys starting and 8 in the panel, how do you make up for the fact that they didn't grow up inherently with that sense of what it means to play England? Now, short of playing a stupid video or something like that, is there anything you're working on during the week to impress upon them that it's more than a game. Playing England is more than just another professional rugby game.
You know, I think people are always looking for little things, but for us, it's all been about a test match. You know what I mean? And I'm preparing for a test match, which all the ones that we play in, our preparation is very similar, and just little things will stick out. But there's been nothing special this week in relation to try and build up these guys. These guys are playing for Ireland. They've made that choice to come to Ireland. They're ready to go. They understand. They understand some of the history and some of the background that's there. But it's not something that we've overly hyped. It's not something we've hyped at all within the group.
Do you get the sense? I understand the two last Six Nations defeats were just beaten by a better team on the day. The warm-up match in Twickenham the summer before seemed to have a different sense of it. The people weren't up for it. But are you confident that there won't be any sort of repeat of that from what you've seen this week in the build-up?
I think that was two teams at a very different stage of pre-season development, you know, as well. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that we're in a very different place, different frame of mind. I think, you know, as we said at the start, it is a new group, and some of the players are only new into it. Like obviously the likes of Hugo, Jemison, all these guys. Not too many caps behind them, but with that, there's a freedom in how they play, and that's what we'll be trying to back this week is getting these guys out and letting them express themselves the way they see fit within that, obviously our structure.
Thanks, best of luck.
Hey Richie, just on the residency thing, like, can you give a sense of what you see it means to those guys who've qualified by a different route and now play for Ireland?
It's very hard for me to say, you know what I mean? I think that's a question that you probably have to ask the players themselves, you know what I mean? But, you know, when the guys come in and play for Ireland, they're in a situation where they're more than happy to do that, and they take on the challenge as if they were anyone else, you know. So I'm not really quite sure what you want me to say, because I can't say how they actually feel. But from a coaching point of view and from a group point of view, these guys come in, they fit into the group really well, and they're taking us forward, and they're adding in the environment, they're questioning, they're giving opinion, they're working with the other guys, and there's no us and them. It's Ireland, you know, as a team, as a squad, including the management.
Yeah, absolutely. Can I just take you back to the kicking thing as well? Obviously, you mentioned that they've done some damage, I suppose, with that side of the game. What about what you guys have been trying to build and push forward, and what you want to impose on them with your own kicking game? Where are you at with that?
Yeah, well, I think we've taken some strides. Our kicking game probably is a little better than it was pre-lockdown. I think we've more variety in our kicking game, more options, and again, we'll be trying to do that to them as well. And it's about finding space, you know. So whether it be kicking, whether it be running, it all depends. But it comes down to good decision makers, and it comes down to responsibility of everyone in the team, because you can't have a 9 and a 10 making all the decisions.
Cheers.
Okay, guys, I'll take the last one in this section.
Richie, I know you had Bono in camp, and it's kind of hard to live up to him the last time he played England. Do you get anybody from outside the camp now to kind of talk to the team virtually or anything like that?
Yeah. There is bits and pieces going on, and we're trying to arrange some stuff. But at the moment, I think where we're at is we're trying to really work on ourselves and create that atmosphere from within, in relation to trying to prepare for these test matches. And you know, going back to back is obviously, you know, from Wales to England is obviously a big thing. So we've worked really hard on trying to keep our in-house stuff going, and players, you know, making those contacts between themselves and trying to bring us forward. So at the moment we're not having that much outside information coming in, but there is a big push from within the squad, so that players are getting to know each other a lot better, and you know that they're working hard with each other in order to sort of move the thing forward. I know it's a bit waffly, but you kind of get an idea.
You're just not telling us, are you? Thanks, Richie.
Okay, guys, we'll switch on to the embargoed written section.